Well, happy Wednesday, everyone. Today's video is actually a follow-up from a video I recorded 2 weeks ago. I encourage you to go back and actually take a look at it if you haven't already. But in it, we were talking about this idea of foundations and then how a faulty foundation in our own identity, our soul, can create all kinds of problems for us, because then when life gets difficult or things go sideways, it causes everything to collapse. It's a very foundational principle in terms of how to live a healthy life. And if you recall, if you were watching the video from last time, you'll know there are 3 lies that we tend to believe that undermine the foundation that we live with. One is the performance lie, which says who I am is equal to what I do or what I accomplish or how successful I am. The second lie is that who I am is equal to what people think of me and their opinions of me and whether they're pleased with me. And the third lie is that who I am and my value is tied to the things I can control and the things that I can get my hands around. And we found that with each of these lies, there are things that are triggers. And your homework, if you did it, if you were watching and you thought about it, was to pay attention to the things that trigger you, the things that make you defensive, the things that cause you to be a little bit petty with other people or irritated with others, to kind of pay attention to those compulsive behaviors. Well, today I want to talk about what do you do with that? Because we all have them, we all struggle with these, and there are lots and lots of people who go their entire lives with these lies, having never dealt with them, and they find that they're at the whims of those lies, and their life has the up and downs for their entire life. There's nothing automatic about getting older and being able to deal with these. So what do we do? How do we deal with these? Well, I think there's 4 steps. And the first is, and we've already talked about this, is you have to identify the lie. If you don't know what the lie is, you can't deal with it. And so we've already started that process. But this involves being willing to ask tough questions. And so what I would say this is learn to ask questions and add this one word at the end, really. So in other words, when things are difficult and you're irritated, you say, so why am I so irritated right now? Really? Why is this bothering me so much? Really? I mean, why am I so worried? Why am I so fearful of what's going to happen? Really? And the goal here is to dig under the surface, to let the Holy Spirit speak into what's really going on underneath the surface. Identify what the lie is and the thing that we're struggling with. Why do I talk to myself that way? Really? Why am I so afraid to have that conversation? Really? Well, that's number 1. Number 2 is as you figure out what the lies are, you have to replace them with something. You have to replace them with truth. Scientists say that we can actually rewire the way our brain works, the neurons and everything, that we can actually cause new pathways to be created with new ways of thinking. And so for a lot of us, we've been spending our entire lives thinking and believing these lies a certain way. We need to rewire it. That's why Paul said we can be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Well, how do you do that? You actually have to come up with the truth that goes against the lie. And so let me give you a couple of examples. Let's say you're saying you're going to pay the bills and you feel panic setting in and you're worried about your job and whether or not you're going to have enough money, and you can kind of feel your anxiousness welling up. You need to stop and pause and say, God is completely in control, and He's promised to take care of all my needs as His children, and I can trust Him because He'll never abandon me. You may have to do this often, particularly at the beginning. Or you have anxiety over that person in that meeting you have coming up, and you know that's going to be that one person who always seems to find fault with it, and it just kind of makes you anxious. The truth is to say, hey, God, I want everybody to like me. I want them to be pleased with what I'm doing. But even if they're not, you love me. You proved it by dying on the cross. That will never change, and that's enough. These are truths we have to repeat over and over and over, and it'll take time. Third thing, and it's connected to that, is we have to actually slow down enough to listen to the Holy Spirit. Because a lot of times when we're in the midst of life and all these lies are coming up, we're going so hard and so fast, and we're so used to thinking a certain way that we never take the time to actually let the God speak truth into our lives, to process what we've heard. For example, if you're having trouble with the people-pleasing lie and you have a fight with your spouse and you can feel everything inside of you getting defensive and wanting to fight back, there is value in getting by yourself with God and saying, okay, God, what's truth in here that I need to learn from, but what is also true about who I am that does not depend on what my spouse thinks of me? Give yourself space. And then here's the last thing. Act on it. When you tell yourself the truth, you actually have to do it. So even if you're struggling, you're like, I don't know if I can do this, in your faith is early, act on it anyway. Have the difficult conversation, even though you might be a little worried about what the reaction will be and what they might think of you. Take a risk, even if it leads to complete failure and you're worried what people are going to think of whether you're successful or not. If God's leading you to do it, do it. But act on it. And remember, in all this, this is a process. This is not an event. Foundations take time. The tallest building in the world is the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. And if you do any research on it, what you'll find is they spent 18 months underground before you saw anything above ground. They drove these pilings, and there's close to 200 of them. They had to drive them almost 170 feet into the ground, and they were doing all this before you ever even saw evidence that there was a building. A lot of times, that's what it does for us. God is mending our foundation, and you might not see the immediate results, but he's doing a deep work if you're willing to identify the lie, replace it with the truth, involve God in the process, and then act on it. It's a lifelong pursuit. I'm still in it, but I trust that you'll engage in it because you will live the life God designed more if you do this. Hey, have a great day. We'll talk to you next time.